everybody, welcome back. This is the final lesson of Unit 1. It's lesson 14, and it is another type of energy calculation where this time temperature is not changing. So we look for phase change words, okay? We're going to be in a phase change. Always to recognize these problems, look for phase change words. And the phase change words that you find determine which equation you should use, okay? So, if you see words like melting, or freezing, or fusion, you're going to use Q equals MHF, which is in Table T. That equation's in Table T. If you see words like boil, or vaporize, or condense, you're going to use Q equals MHV. Okay? Now notice what's not in these equations is temperature, and there's a good reason for that. It's because we're using these equations were on the flat part of our curve when we're in a phase change. And you should remember that when we're on the flat part of the curve, there is no temperature change. So temperature is never part of these equations, okay? Again, for water, these values are on Table B. The first one is your HF, the second one is your HV. So all you really care about is the mass of your substance and the constant. For example, how much heat energy is required to melt 225 grams of ice at 0 degrees Celsius? So, when I read these questions, I find a number and identify my variables. The first number I see here is 225 G. G is the abbreviation for grams. Grams is the unit of mass. So this is the M in my equation. Ice at 0 degrees Celsius. This is a temperature, okay? That is the temperature we're at. So if you want to call it TI, that's fine. But notice we're not changing. There's a phase change word in here. So we have to get used to looking for phase change words. Melting is in our equation. This is our phase change word. And if melting is in our equation, now we know what equation to use. Just going back, when we are melting, we're going to use Q equals MHF. So I write down my equation, and I go back and I find out what they're asking me for. How much heat energy? So they're asking me for heat energy, and remember, energy is Q. So I don't know Q, I know my mass is 225, and I need HF. Now never plug in temperature. When you see phase change words, you can cross out the temperature. It's really just a clue to let you know you're at the melting point for ice. It looks as though we don't know two things. We don't know Q and we don't know HF. And just like the problems we were doing, if you don't know two things, ask yourself, is this water? Do we have ice? And we do. And when we have ice or we have water, the constants are on Table B. Since we're melting, we need HF. It's 334. You just plug it into the equation. 334. When the variables are next to each other, you multiply them. 225 times, turn on the calculator first, 334. And you get 75,150. Final answer, done. Okay? Let's look at example number 2. When you see a number, you identify what it is. Grams, by now, hopefully you know that's mass. Uh-oh. Phase change word right there. Here's a number. J is the unit, so that's our Q. What is the heat of fusion? They're asking me for heat of fusion, which is HF. Since the phase change word is melted, I'm using Q equals MHF. I plug in what I know. Q is 3,444. M is 20. And they're asking me for HF. So I'll simply divide both sides by 20 to get X by itself. 170 2.2 is your X. Okay? So these ones tend to be a little bit easier because there's no temperature involved. And our final example, how many joules of energy are required to vaporize 423 grams, that's our mass, of water at 100 degrees Celsius, that's our temperature. Are there any phase change words? Vaporize. So if I see a phase change word, I don't care about the temperature. And they're asking me for joules. Joules is Q. Now I'm in the vaporize is my word, so I'm using Q equals mHV. They're asking me for Q. I have my M, but they did not give me HV. So this is when your head says, oh, is this water? And it is water, so I get HV for water off table B. It's 2,260. Plug it in. Your X is your Q. Just multiply your letters. 423, times 2260. And you get 955,980. Final answer. Okay? So we're adding on a new way to calculate heat energy during a phase change. When you see phase change words, you cross out the temperature, and depending on the phase change word, you're either using HV or HF. That's it for tonight. We'll see you on Monday where we'll practice all of these calculations some more. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and that's it for Unit 1. We'll have a test probably next week. I'm guessing Wednesday or Thursday. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you Monday.